You're on CYInterview.
I'm Chris Shandek, featured columnist Jay Billstein is with me. Today on CYInterview, we welcome on Anthony Cardella. Here in Las Vegas, he just received a promotion, becoming a co-producer for Stabile Productions. The company is responsible for some of the most well-known shows on the Las Vegas Strip. Anthony, thanks for joining us on CYInterview. How are you today?
Thank you for having me. I'm good. How are you?
Great. We're great to have you here. You started out having a passion for dance, and then you became a dance teacher. So when did you know you wanted to be in the producing side of the entertainment business and take a role behind the scenes?
I think I've always wanted to be behind the scenes. I just never thought it would be possible. And when I came on to Stabile Productions and I was kind of given a little small role, I just kind of found my way to make it a bigger role over the years. So I've been very fortunate enough.
So I want to say congratulations on your recent job promotion, now becoming a co-producer with the company. Just to educate our listeners, can you tell us what shows you work on in Las Vegas and what your responsibilities are?
So we currently have X-Burlesque and X-Country. We also have X-Rocks that we're looking to reopen here, hopefully in the next few months. So I co-produce all those shows. I also choreograph all of the shows. And then I also manage the shows. And then with X-Burlesque, I'm actually the dance captain, so I have to teach all the new girls the show and do the scheduling. So there's a lot of different hats I wear, but I love them all.
What do you think, before I throw it to Jay, what do you think is the most enjoyable and challenging part of, staying on top of these long-standing shows in Las Vegas that, have new crowds every night?
Enjoyable part would probably be seeing my work on stage, so seeing the choreography come to life, and that just happened when we put these new numbers in, because it's been a few years since I put new numbers in, so that was really exciting to watch. And the challenging part is just keep upping our previous work that we've done, like making sure that the new numbers we put in are better than the previous ones that we're replacing with. And luckily, I think we've accomplished that this year for sure.
Jay?
Well, first of all, Anthony, great to be speaking with you. I'm really glad that you're on with us today. Dance is an area of my interest and fascination. I came up in athletics and in track and in powerlifting and sometimes of what are called the heavier type of sports and so forth. And when I was 23 years old, I had the opportunity to work in a health club in Manhattan where the whole personal trainer scene had just started to begin. And almost all of my coworkers were dancers. They were women who were dancers on Broadway. And, Broadway, like any other area of entertainment endeavor, can be unstable work-wise, right? Sometimes you've got a gig, sometimes you don't. Sometimes a show on Broadway runs for a while, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
And I learned so much from these women, and and that was decades ago, and it just left such an impression upon me about how tough the dance world is, how demanding it is in terms of craft, in terms of artistic presentation, in terms of professionalism. And when we've had on a variety of people here on CYInterview, Las Vegas dancers and so forth, I've referred to them as athletes, right? They need all the ability of the athlete, but it's got to be presented in a very artistic way. And then we come to someone like you who really can do it all. You're a choreographer. First of all, I have to believe being a choreographer is one of the toughest jobs on earth. You've got to know dance, you've got to have an eye, you've got to be an athlete yourself, really, to be a leader and have been there and done that. Can you let our listeners in, because we've got a lot of people very interested in dance, can you really let them in a quick bird's eye view of just how tough it is to be a choreographer, especially in a very, very competitive environment like Las Vegas?
It's very hard. It's very hard keeping in the know of the current trend, too, because as you know, dances change. You have to update the style, so you really have to stay up to date on what is current with the dance world. So that's like taking classes, watching videos, watching movies, watching musicals, and that's what I try to do, just immerse myself in all the dance possible. I also try to take classes. I took a lot of classes over quarantine. And then also with choreographing, I have to choreograph to the girls in the show because certain things will look better on this girl than the other girl. So you have to also, you know, choreograph for a whole. So I'm choreographing for 6 girls. Not everything's going to look good, you know, so that's when I teach the number. I have to see what looks good. So it's all about workshopping with the girls as well, and that's what I like to do because I'm like, okay, I think this looks good on me, but I'm a guy. When I get it on a woman, I'm like, oh, that doesn't look as good, so I have to change it.
and of course, you're a choreographer and a dance captain, you said. So, I mean, you're in the thick of it 2 ways, right? You've got to have the eye. You've got to be able to stand back and say, you know, I have it in my head, but is it really the masterpiece out there that I see in my mind? But you're also boots on the, well, not boots, of course, but your dance shoes on the ground as well because you're in the thick of it. Does that make it more challenging?
No, I don't think it does. I think it helps because I also know how it, because, you know, I can see like, oh, that's gonna hurt the body, or like that's not even possible as a dancer because if I can't do it myself, I'm like, it's not going to be any easier. So I think it helps in my perspective. Like I just changed something the other day. We put a number in, and I was like, oh, there's something that's missing. Like something's not reading, so I changed it after the show, and like now it's like 10 times better than what I was previously. And it's as simple as like 4 different counts I changed, and it made it much better.
But you know, the thing is, you can say that with your experience.
Right.
But for those of us who are the fans, for those of us who are fans of dance and we're just coming to watch, you know, you say, my God, how do they put these numbers together? How do they, 2 things. Number one, how do you choreograph something like that, and how do people actually have that ability, which is, of course, cultivated through many, many years of blood, sweat, and blisters. Right. When you were speaking a moment ago of keeping up with trends, I had this flashback. I was just talking to my sister yesterday, and we were referring to one of our favorite movies, Birdcage, with Robin Williams, rest in peace. And there was one scene where he was saying, I think it was Martha Graham, Twyla Tharp, Madonna, right? I mean, and I channeled that the second you said that because I'm thinking, yeah, there's just so much out there, and there's even more now. Have you noticed recently in the last, well, let's say over the pandemic, have certain styles or nuances changed in or being reflected in dance because of the pandemic?
100% there is, because TikTok became a huge social media app.
Never thought of that. Wow, what a great insight.
And so everyone became a dancer and a choreographer during that and doing trends and like, okay, so let's keep going on this. And what's the newest trend that everyone's doing on social media? And so that was a big factor in quarantine. So, you know, obviously I'm looking at those videos to see, okay, what's everyone doing? What's the cool moves? And to see. Also, another thing is like, going out too helps, you know, seeing in the club, immersing yourself in that, because I want to see what everyone is dancing to, what songs get them going, how are they dancing, how are they interacting with each other. So that helps a lot too.
You know, never thought of that, and the second you said it, you know, it was like a facepalm moment. It's like, of course. But wow, so that's interesting, the interplay between culture and art, right? I mean, it's right there, just what you said. That's really remarkable. Very, very interesting stuff, Anthony. Chris?
Anthony, so as you revealed at the top of this conversation, X-Rocks is definitely going to return. Do you think you guys will be in a new venue? What can you tell me?
We looking hopefully by at least this year somewhere. We have a couple different options we're looking at, but it will definitely be reopening, that we know. It was ready to go literally like 2 weeks before COVID hit. The show was ready to go. We have all these new props. There's a whole new show. So we definitely are very eager to get that reopened for sure.
So what was like the main reason for the delay? Because obviously all the other productions have returned and a lot of other shows in Las Vegas have returned. What was just the main reason?
They had Caesars Entertainment, you know, merged with El Dorado, so they had looked at their options of what shows and what hotels they want entertainment in. So I think with Bally's, they were unsure of what was going on, and now it's been rebranded to Horseshoe. So I think that's why it was being held up there. We didn't know. X-Burlesque has been there for 15 years. X-Country is now almost going on 7 years at Harrah's. So I think that's why with that. So it's like I said, it's not the end of X-Rocks, but you're definitely getting it reopened for sure.
Well, thanks for that. And then finally, before we close, what does the new promotion mean to you?
The new promotion means pretty much everything. I wanted that for a really long time. I'm very thankful that Matt, Angela, and Tiffany believed in me to give that to me because I've always wanted it, but I didn't think I was necessarily worthy of it until this year. And I think I worked really hard to get it. And I'm just thankful because it's just us for Team X is what we call us. And it is like a family. I've known them for over 20 plus years.
Well,
so
congratulations again. We at CYInterview are very excited for your new position. So for co-producer Anthony Cardella, featured columnist Jay Bilstein, and CYInterview, I'm Krishenik.